Hey Max Impactors, I have a treat for you today. This is one of my favorite soups. That's a rustic white bean soup. And what we're going to do is we're going to start out on the grill. That's what's going to make it rustic, is we're going to grill some tomatoes and onions, and I'm going to show you how it's done. To get started with our onions and tomatoes, we want to get the grill to a high heat. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start with the onions. And what you're going to do is you just brush some olive oil on them. We're going to throw them on the grill, and we're only using about one onion, and we're going to cut them in like slices like this, and we're going to let these cook for about 10 to 12 minutes here on the grill. Now that we have olive oil brushed on these onions, we're going to flip them halfway through the time. Okay, right around the halfway point, when we start flipping all these onions over, that's when I get to the tomatoes and put them on. So all we're going to do is we're going to take these tomatoes and do the exact same thing. We're going to brush them with olive oil, give them a nice coat here, and then I'm going to throw them on the grill for about 3 to 5 minutes, and I'm going to just turn them gradually, and all we want is a little bit of a char on them and the skins to be loose. The timer just went off, and you can see the 8 tomatoes. I didn't tell you that there was 8 tomatoes. These are plum tomatoes too. You can always look at the recipe that's down below in the description. And then here's our onions. You can see the nice char that we got on some of these and the onions. So we're going to take them off, and we're just going to set them aside on our plate here to cool off as we prepare the rest. Be real careful when you're pulling the onions off. You don't want to knock them into the grill. We have these charred tomatoes from the grill. Now what we're going to do is I let it cool down a little so it won't burn my fingers, but you're just going to peel the skin off. One thing about these tomatoes too is you're supposed to core them. I like to core them before I throw them on the grill. So if you notice, all of them have a little hole in the top where I just take the knife and cut out the core. And then after I pull this skin off, we're going to roughly chop these tomatoes. It's time to put this all together now. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a little bit of olive oil, put it in the pan, about 2 tablespoons. Then we have 1 garlic that I've minced, and I'm just going to throw that in. Then we're going to take the grilled onions that we just did, and we're going to throw it into the pan with them. And we're going to cook this over the heat for about 1 to 2 minutes until it's kind of like fragrant. There's nothing like fresh basil from the garden, I'll tell you. So now we have this set up where it's cooked here for about 1 to 2 minutes. The onions are nice and caramelized like you like them. And then we're going to take our beans, and we're going to use 2 cans of the Cannellini Beans. And you're going to dump them in liquid and all, so you don't have to drain the liquid. Then we're going to put in our tomatoes. And we tried to keep the liquid, that's why I used a plate when I chopped it. I don't want to lose that liquid, because that liquid's going to be great in here. Alright, and then we're going to take this nice fresh basil from the garden, and we're going to throw that in there. We're going to do about a 1/2 cup, so I'm going to estimate, this is a little bit more than a 1/2 cup, so I'm going to estimate about that much as a 1/2 cup. Then you're going to use a little salt. Now I like to go light on the salt, because I'll put a little bit in right now for the cooking, and a little bit of the pepper, but then I'll wait till kind of like almost to the end where I'll actually taste it and just get the salt to the taste that I want it as, instead of actually measuring it, because I think a lot of different people like different amounts of salt in their soup, so that's the way I do it. Alright, now we're just going to bring this up to a boil and let it simmer. That was 10 minutes on the stove, and now we can do the finishing touches. So I'm going to turn it off, and what we got, and I love putting this in. I mean, you can have this without it, but I like the little zing that you get from balsamic vinegar, and you're going to just do 2 teaspoons, and that just gives it a nice little zing. And this is also the time when you should try to taste some of it and then add a little, the salt and pepper to taste. I hope you guys loved this video. If you did, make sure you smash that like button, hit subscribe for more great videos like this, and we'll see you in the next video.